What's up, flappers? Welcome to another video, and today we're going to be talking about something that I don't know how many of you guys are considering. It mainly has something to do with Yae Miko, as you can tell from the title and thumbnail, but more so it has to do with Yae Miko's element, Electro. Now, if you've been following my content for some time now, you know that I have been mentioning how Electro needs changes, Electro needs buffs, Electro needs, at this point, a rework. And so far, miHoYo has not delivered any of the things that I have hoped for. And of course, I'm not out here trying to be like miHoYo has to cater to me, Walrus. Everything I want, miHoYo has to incorporate. Now, I say this because I feel like Electro, no matter how you guys spin it, is in a state where it's difficult to make a lot of strong and capable teams with them. There are the exception though, nowadays, especially with someone like Kokomi being released, that you are able to make some very interesting and variations of the Taser team. But I have received some messages directly asking me whether or not I think that Yae Miko is going to solve this problem, or is Yae Miko just gonna be slotted into some other Taser comp variation. And at this point, it just feels like Taser is the only realistic way anyone is going to play Electro in any sort of meta given environment. Now, you guys are gonna hit me with the, but Walrus, this game is so easy, you don't need to play meta. I know, right? You don't have to. Then a lot of stuff literally just flies out the window. It doesn't matter. Play for Barbara against Oceanid, play for Klee versus the Pyro Hypostasis. But the whole point of this is to understand and to be able to admit that Electro is in an awkward state. I don't want to use the word that it's bad or it's useless, because there are certain uses where Electro does shine through and provide some sort of assistance. But it's hard to deny the fact that Electro is an awkward element. Its reactions are awkward and confused, and at times it downright feels like that it works against you. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that Electro needs some sort of change. I don't think it needs like specific buffing or to revamp certain aspects or reactions of Electro to have higher scaling. If miHoYo doesn't want Electro to reflect the same damage typing as Melt and Vaporize, that's fine. But what is Electro? You're telling me is Electro some sort of energy charging element? Because it seems like Raiden Shogun does that, the Electro MC does that, and even the Electro Resonance itself leans into energy recharge. So is miHoYo trying to say Electro is an element that's more supportive and lean towards energy recharge? Fine. But then what is Overload, right? What is Superconduct? Why is miHoYo designing this element to do so many different things, but at the same time barely acceptable in all of them? The only reason a lot of the times that Electro reactions are utilized is simply because of their uniqueness. There's nothing else in the game like it, but uniqueness doesn't mean practical. How many Taser teams do you really see people running versus how many Melt teams, Vaporize teams, even now triple Geo teams, right? And soon to be triple Cryo teams. It's not a joke when I say that one of my viewers, Mr. Sanzu River himself, has come to me and told me that his Kaching deals more cryo damage with Shenhe buffing her running an Electro Goblet than her trying to do raw Electro damage. Let that sink in for a moment. miHoYo has buffed cryo to the point where Kaching with an Electro Goblet deals more cryo damage when given a Chongyun on her team and Shenhe than herself doing Electro damage with that Electro Goblet. It's pretty absurd to think that Electro has fallen so far behind the curve that we're starting to see the other elements appearing in our rear view mirrors here trying to overtake us. It's going around an entire lap already. miHoYo, when is enough going to be enough? What is the incentive to pull for Yae Miko other than a cute waifu with fox ears and pure blind hype? Now, if you're asking me if Electro needs to be changed, my answer would obviously be yes. But there are many ways to go about making changes to something like an important element of the game. Are you going to revamp it? That means you scratch a lot of things and tack on other things to kind of upgrade it and make it better. Or you're going to reboot it, start it from the scratch and build a whole new thing from Electro. Or you're going to make it slightly more favorable through stat changes to pre-existing reactions. Now, all of these things are good, but I personally think that miHoYo likely won't do any of them because there's a fourth option. The fourth option is for miHoYo to continue releasing new Electro characters slowly, but as time goes on, they'll release characters that facilitate this niche group of units and tackle this problem through secondary scaling supports. Now, that's kind of like what Goro is doing. That's kind of like what Sarah already did. But Electro needs a lot more than just damage amplification as well as some additional energy recharge. Because do remember, people bring Bennett on their teams because he can both buff and heal. People bring Xingqiu onto their teams because he has great hydro application. I think a lot of the times character strength are derived from a culmination of things, and if one aspect of this formula is in utter disbalance, then this formula has to make up for it by adding more weight to the other side, which in this case would be making a strong enough support or straight up buffing all future Electro units, which then miHoYo run into a different issue, which is that power creep would be so blatantly obvious if they were to release a character right now in Electro that rivals Ito's DPS. Then any players who have played old Electro characters would essentially feel quite salty, right? You've invested so much into this one character just to have miHoYo pull the rug right underneath you. So then at the end here, is there a solution? Is there any way for miHoYo to make Electro feel better without making major changes or demanding certain revamps to entire character kits? Yes, there is. It's just whether or not miHoYo wants to forsake some company resources into developing ways to make Electro relevant. Now, when I say relevant, I don't mean it has to be doing as much damage as Melt or Vaporize or Electro characters has somehow to kick the asses of all other characters. I'm just saying in relevancy to the usage of all other Abyss teams, which miHoYo has all the metadata for. Electro should be up there with data that shouldn't skew them towards the negatives, but rather highlight how they are able to function in teams that are unique to Electro themselves. And it's no secret that miHoYo is choosing to actively ignore Electro as an element, releasing very little characters and only releasing them when they're absolutely forced to, as they've teased certain characters non-stop. But going forward, do expect Electro to continue having droughts as miHoYo tries to figure out what they need to do to get this back on track. Alright, with that said, thank you guys for watching. I'll be live streaming later tonight. Hope to see you guys there, and until then, urge y'all to stay safe and peace.